Okay, sweet.
Alright. You want me to clap in?
Clap in.
There we go. That's a clap. Yes. Alright, we ready? Cool. Welcome back to Organized Chaos today, guys. As you can see, it's not just me today. This is a whole new crew of people. But before we get to them, welcome back to Organized Chaos. This is actually a very exciting episode.
Indeed.
We have had this in the plan for... You know what's so crazy? I remember you guys were probably the first people I told about this plan. I don't know if you guys remember.
Yeah, no, I do.
Yeah.
Well, I do indeed.
Yeah, like last year, we were literally walking down there and I was like, it would be great to have you guys on the episode, and now we're here.
Yeah.
Fast
forward.
All good things happen.
Yeah, I know.
You had a vision and a plan, my man, and it's come together, bro. So
Now,
congratulations. Congratulations.
Yeah, now we're
You
actually
should
here.
big up to yourself, man. You should be proud.
Thank you guys. So yeah, now we're here with the two guys here. If you don't know them already, you will get to know them over the next 40 minutes to an hour. But we're here at Best Leeds today. As you can see, the sun's come down a bit. Thank you to the guys for letting us in the studio, and shout out to Joe as well for setting this up.
Big up to Flynn. Behind the cam, man behind the cam.
Exactly.
Behind the man.
Producer Joe, I know you guys call him Flynn, but you know, we call
we
him
have many
producer.
names.
He has many names, like a lot of people do. Lol.
Yeah, oh my god, I'm gonna get so distracted doing this. But yeah, welcome to the first episode of Free Game, the podcast where your favorite creatives come and they just give you advice and we sit down and we have a great conversation. Today, I feel out of my depth today. We actually have one of probably one of the biggest brands I'm going to talk to you for a while. And I can only see this growth getting way, way bigger. I would like to say, maybe I'm biased in saying this too, I would like to say the biggest owned brand up north. I'll definitely have to say that.
Big up, I appreciate
Yeah.
Very kind words, mate. Very kind words. Thank you, Bill.
When did we meet you, Bill? This time last year?
No.
We
met Bill before that.
Commotion had
2
best
years
commotion. That's when I met Bill.
The first commotion.
Yeah, but that's a year before, though. That's like...
Is that year before?
Yeah, do you know what, last year, bro? That was
We'll get into that later. That's how quick it goes,
yeah,
bro.
That was
Yeah.
23.
2023?
Yeah, that was like 2 years ago.
Yeah, 2023.
Yeah.
If my mind is right.
Yeah.
No, it was. That's when, yeah.
That was a while ago. Yeah, I've known these guys for a while, man. Whopping 70K on the gram on their Best Leeds UK page. They have, if you guys have seen their pop-ups in the streets of Leeds, they have the kids going crazy. I've never seen motion like that up north. I'm genuinely not glazing. You guys can search it up. Police have shut them down. They've had some of the craziest fashion creators here. So yeah, you know how it is. But enough of me talking. As you can see, it's the best shop in the world. I would like to let these two guys introduce yourselves. So, Aaron, let's go with you first. Name, age, and occupation.
Erin, 26, occupation. I get to run the best shop in the world. Carl run the best shop in the world. 27?
Yeah, he's 27.
I've only just gone 27.
I'm thinking, I'm like, I was thinking, I'm like, am I going?
Yo, don't even cut that out even. That's just down off. Yeah, that's just more recent. Yeah, I'm 27 now actually. 27 a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, Erin, 27. Carl run the best shop in the world, which is... feel blessed to do it every day. Blessed to do it every day, bro. If anyone knows before, I was an estate agent before this, selling yards, moving you into flats.
No way.
Yeah.
That's an inside scoop. I actually never knew this.
Did that from when I was 16. Round the corner. Was about to be a mortgage advisor. We're about to sit in rooms like this with a suit and tie on and tell you what interest rate you could get. That's what I would do prior, but yeah.
Now you're here.
Now I'm here, just chilling in whatever I want to chill in.
That's the beauty of life, people. You never know what's going to happen, man.
Nice. And Perry?
So everybody will know me as being the old granddad of the place. I'm Perry Iser. I'm 35. I might not look it, but I know people. But yeah, 35. And I get to live my best life every day. I run the shop with my little brother, who's my best friend. And, you know, it's a very privileged position that I'm in. But I feel like anything, it takes a lot of hard work to do. You don't always have great days, but every day, you know, as I've gotten older, I've realised it is a blessing to get to do what I do. So, yeah, here I am.
Well, that's great. You know, my favourite fact to always tell people is I'm so surprised you're 35. Like, I know you hear this all the time.
Thanks my parents for their black little crack. Thanks my mum and dad.
Nah, but when you see some 35,
dude, man, they've got crow's feet round their eyes. You know what I mean? I'm still here looking, young. Well, I like to think I do anyway.
You know Pharrell. Have you seen that Pharrell interview?
Yeah, that's what I like to do. I like to pin myself. I'll take that Pharrell. Yeah.
Nah, Pharrell's a good example. He just done it. Nah, trust.
I'm puffing. I got the grey hairs a little bit, but I got a nipple on, so
it covers it up.
It covers it, man. It covers it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like you said. Speaking of hard work, you guys are always keeping a smile on your face. Even in times of stress, I always see you guys smiling. That's one thing I've noticed. Like whenever I've been at events, I always see you guys smiling, and what keeps you guys going, like when you guys are at an event, when you guys are having those tough days of knowing we have this much to do, what keeps you guys going?
I mean, for me, to answer that is just being grateful. Like, I think for me, like when I see people come into the shop and the buzz that they get off it, that just puts a smile on my face. That like fills my cup. I feel so wholesome that we've created are creating something that gives us that ability. And, you know, my saying in life is it costs nothing to be nice. And I think there's a lot of people in this generation that do seem to forget that sometimes, you know what I mean? And I don't know if everyone feels the same, but when I come into work, we have a smile on our face because we're happy with what we're doing, and we can honestly say that's a nice feeling to have in life, you know what I mean? And a lot of people get up and hate the jobs or don't like the life, and especially as I've gotten older, I'm incredibly grateful that I can get up every day, and that's why I have a smile on my face. I'm doing it because I'm very grateful for everybody that walks through that door, and even people I've seen at Best Bag, and when I see people wearing our stuff, it genuinely does. I feel like a kid on Christmas Day. Do you know what I mean? Like that's my probably best analogy.
Yeah,
put it down, man.
It's a good feeling. What about you? What keeps you going?
The progression that we've had since seeing that something. I think, you know, one of the main reasons we do it. We obviously speak frequently, and we can see that it's going in the right direction. I think we're honest in the sense of, like, you know, if it started going in the wrong direction, but I think the fear of the unknown, we don't know what's around the corner. When you do jobs like this, your week can change on a phone call. My week can change on a phone call, certainly. Or you could be told that, you know, like when we first started it was, we started selling our own clothing, then NEMS came down, then the week after that. So, you know, when like I said, obviously I use that analogy of when I used to work before, I used to know what I would do in the day before, the day after and the day after that. Do you know what I mean? I used to know exactly what I was doing for the week, and I feel like what keeps me going in this is you know, the sky generally is the limit, bro. Like you can be sat there thinking about you know, stuff that you're doing, and irrespective of what other people have to say, there's nothing that's unachievable. Sometimes the maddest ideas are the best ones when you do stuff like this.
Definitely.
Do you know what I mean? Like, bro, we've done stuff that to somebody else, or if somebody said the same idea to me a couple of years ago, I know what you're talking about, bro. That's what's they're the things now that, like, you point out at the start that are like differentiating us. The fact that you come in every day is different. Keeps us going. A bad day can only last 24 hours as well, do you know what I mean? You know what I mean? You can't get upset by having a bad day, bro. You're going to have bad days. I feel like Instagram and social media can portray that, like, it's busy 24/7. We have to actually speak a lot about how to combat it being quiet as well. Because the reality is, bro, like, you know, retail and what we do is not a flying sector right now.
That's so true.
So we have to find ways to be like, you know, all right, we know it's going to be a bad day, or we know it's going to be a quiet month, but it's about approaching it in the right way. Do you know what I mean? I feel like that's why I love the team of people that I work with. You know, nobody's takes anything too personal, and everybody says stuff for the right reasons. We all just want to do more, and but I'm a big believer in you can always do more. You know what I mean? I've never really.
He actually is. I think
we have a good day, and I will look pissed off. Not pissed off, but like, for me, if you have a good day, bro, we have to go. You know what I mean? It's always about doing that, and I think the day I stop is when when I don't feel like we'll be able to do that
anymore. No, that's crazy. Because you guys, I mean, a lot of people who are watching this will definitely know. But you guys are originally like, what would I say? Not even vintage store, just like, what kind of store would it be? Like, it's retail. But you guys just, I would just put you in the cool clothes category. You just come in here, you buy cool clothes. Well, apart from the own brand, which we'll move on to in a second. But you guys, like, explain the store a bit now, what it is, and then how you guys moved from just being in the retail department. Because I remember when I first came here for uni, I don't think you guys had the own brand at that point. That was
No, I don't think we did, you know, bro.
No,
you moved to the own brand now. And
anybody who's been shopping at the shop for a couple of years will probably see there's been a difference in what we sell.
Yeah,
the floor we're sat on
100%.
now just used to sell ladies. The downstairs was more, but do you know what? And this might be just my opinion. I'm a bit bored of going in them shops and everything's just like 4 bills and 300 quid.
Yeah, and no one talks to you as well.
And like, I were a bit bored of that, and I feel like what we've tried doing with like the deals and stuff is get what people want to buy, but let them get it at a price where they walk out feeling like they've robbed us. And if that works for us, that, you know what I mean? If we can make that work, then I don't really care that we can sell a specific product for a little bit more, or because now it's like, you know, you build that customer's trust at that point. Like they're buying from us. I had a guy over there, it's like, what, 100 quid for everything? I'm
Sometimes
like,
people don't believe it.
But we had to sit in the store once and think like, bro, everything's mad expensive. Do you know what I mean?
How come we condense it down and make people
mad expensive and you know, look at what's going on in the world. Not everybody's flush with cash. It's not really like a buyer's market right now. Everyone can just come in and not think about money. Everyone's got to be cautious with their pennies. A lot of stuff's changed in the way clothes are sold nowadays. You know, never were it before where as many clothes were sold on platforms like Vinted, eBay, Depop, and unfortunately when you do what we do, they become competition for us. You know, if someone is so accessible to jump on the phone and grab something, why are they going to grab it from us? So we like... I think the shop now, even if somebody comes in and thinks, I feel now completely confident in what we sell, the prices we sell at. We like to sell a lot of clothes that we like wearing, bro. Do you know what I mean?
Definitely. We're selling what we like as well.
We like wearing, and we've sat in the shop before and sold stuff that we probably don't like as much. You know what I mean? That's just
but that's just to get by. Like, sometimes you got to do what you get. That's because we have,
you know just like everyone else. You know what I mean? We have bills to pay, stuff like that. So, but now I feel like we're finally at a place where like I like this. I pick out an outfit of someone and I know I wear myself and thinking.
That's the thing. I see you guys definitely, a lot of the clothes you sell are definitely things you would wear. I think it shows. I think that's also why people really like the brand, especially like a lot of the kids in the community. They like it because they can see that they're not necessarily being treated as the end consumer that's coming as a part of the club, like they're joining a club. Like,
I would agree with that, definitely.
Kind of like all these fits, if they want to wear it,
it's accessible.
And you make people feel welcome. I think when people come to the shop, they want to come to the shop, like not necessarily see me name, but it's like a hub for people to come in, and that's one thing I'm really proud of. Like, you know, you get mums coming in like being like, oh, my son's so confident now, you know, he's coming, and that's a really nice feeling. Do you know what I mean? Because we'll have kids who come in every Saturday, the same kids, and they've made friends, and it's that again, like without sounding like it warms my heart that a little bit, because you know you're doing something where you create. Because I remember coming to Leeds back in the day and there were nothing like this, and I've always had a dream and a vision to get in the shop like that. So, and it hasn't happened overnight.
That's beautiful. I mean?
It's not.
Because I remember you said you had been working here longer.
Yeah, I am. Like, I'm the OG of the place. Like, the OG man.
So what propelled you guys to say, you know what, we're gonna change the lane, and instead of staying in like reselling and vintage stuff like that, what made you guys say, you know what, let's start our own brand, let's change the wave a bit and let's make an impact, especially not even just up north but in Leeds and whatnot. What started off, and then you can also go.
I mean, I think you can't. For me personally, I've always had. I have to say this myself, being honest. Like, Erin has always been the one who's had the vision, being like, "Gee, we can do this." And I think I got stuck in my ways sometimes in the stop a little bit, thinking we couldn't really reach them heights. So when you work with someone who, I think Erin sort of pushes me to want to do better and more, and that's why I'm really grateful that we have a good team of people around that. No one settles for second best. So I think. For the own label, Erin was the one who had the vision with it to say, right, look at what we've got, this is what we can do. And that's something I always wanted that level to get to. But I feel like anything in life, you need sometimes people give you that push. And there was a time when I've been in the shop and worked with people when I didn't feel that, do you know what I mean? So the nicest thing about working with your family is, look, no one's the same in life, everybody's different, you know what I mean? Like, and I think that's the beauty of life. Like, it's nice to work with someone like Erin that I know he's going to keep pushing me. So I have to thank Erin for that massively.
Nice.
Nice.
No, I do. You know what I mean? I'm going to be honest. We're on an honest podcast. You know what I mean? I think that's the best way to be. Honesty is the best policy. Do you know what I mean? And now to see the shop where we have now and building the brand, it's something that I didn't think we could get to. So to see it now, and it's still not where we want it yet. It's still not. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to sit here and be complacent and pull cigars out like, oh, we've made it with Kings of Leeds, because we are far from it. And I take my hat off to anybody that's trying to make it in this game, because it is incredibly difficult. Do you know what I mean? But one thing I think you've got to have as well is you can't doubt yourself. You've got to have that self-belief of wanting to do it. And I think, like Erin said, social media can be this illusion where it makes you think like everything's great and you're doing well, but you are going to have them days sometimes where you need people, and I'm lucky to say I've got like my brother who can give me that push. I kick up my ass almost. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
No, that was a nice brotherly moment.
No, sorry, I'm not really honest. You know what I mean?
Gonna give it to you.
You've got me on this honesty podcast. So I can't lie, and I want people to watch this and be like, I'm not chatting here. Do you know what I mean? You've got the real me right about now.
Now that's good. I'm glad we got the real you guys.
No, 100%.
And it's good to get these inside scoops, because I think sometimes people think, especially like seeing you guys and how hungry and go getter you are. It's like people probably just think it's win after win.
Yeah, 100%.
But I think people need to see it's
Yeah.
about the community and the people you have around you. So
I think that's generational. They see Instagram and think it's easy, and I don't think people want to put the work in. Do you know what I mean? And like, I'm very grateful for people coming in shop, but this hasn't happened overnight. Do you know what I mean? And I think a lot of people have to realise, like, look, you're going to have good days, you're going to have bad days, but it's how you react in them bad days to bring yourself back up. And that's one thing I've massively learned in these last 2-3 years since working with Erin.
Nice. And Erin, I'm hearing obviously we had all the good news about the own brand right there from you. So since you kind of, you gave the push for the own brand, what made you want to do it? And what made you want to move from what you were doing now into something different, into quite like a scary space, risky space?
It's a tough question. It's a question that could be answered in a lot of ways. I feel like the nice thing about owning the vintage store is, like, you can sell a lot of stuff, but there's nothing that replicates somebody leaving with your brand on. I preferred that, and we had an early introduction into that by making our own product in house that did well.
Yeah, that is true.
And that was like an insight. We can, that was the joggers that we've got on now. Coincidentally,
this was not made upstairs.
Yeah, this was this was not having a plan. We used to have the seamstress. Obviously, Beth still works for us now, but we seen a product that we were making. We essentially made the product because we were sick like everyone else of Nike putting the prices up, everything getting more expensive, and wanted something that we can wear in store that's almost like staff only, fits well, and from there it went from making that one product to her week went to just making as many of these as she physically could. Then it's about implementing, obviously getting new products to go alongside it. But like, I think like anybody in life wants to, like, I'm always someone that's like, I don't want to limit myself at like working for someone else. I never wanted to do that, and I saw this as the opportunity. Is people, when you have your own brand, you start remembering the brand more than.
Very true.
That's so true.
They're just buying a vintage
jacket. If you bought a vintage jacket and someone asked you, what make is it, they'd say the brand, not always where they got it from. The only thing that really stops you from doing that then is, a big look in the mirror at myself. If I want to put in the work, if I want to say no to things that I might have to now say no to by doing it. And just believing in yourself, bro. I know it sounds cliche, but it's cliche advice that's so true.
That's so true.
And the only thing that separates you doing stuff a lot of the time is yourself, bro. And then, we have, honestly, and I say this in good heart, probably the best team of people I've ever worked with.
Nice.
That have bought into what we want to buy into. They've treated it like their own at times.
Yeah, 100%.
Which you can't, you seriously can't underestimate that. People that have worked for us in the past, people that work for us now as well still. We went on a big journey of just documenting what we were doing. To get the brand out there, get feelers for it. And it's something that takes a lot of work and a lot of sacrifice, but ultimately, I've always wanted somebody to recognise the brand, not the vintage that we sell. I love selling vintage.
Yeah,
if you want the honest truth, a lot of the vintage shapes the products that we make.
Yeah, you take inspiration.
We take a lot of inspiration,
like a lot of brands are doing,
as a lot of brands will do. There's plenty of examples of it out there, but yeah, like to have your own brand, it's like having a newborn baby. You know, it's a mad feeling. It's a mad feeling. It's mad when you see it. You know, if I go out in Leeds now, people know my name. Not that like that's like anything, but it's just a mad feeling. Like it is, like especially, you know, and that's I think why we built it up so around the city, because we, you know, we're not somebody that's like trying to get out of Leeds.
We love Leeds. Leeds is what
we love Leeds. We never wanted to. We never wanted to do it and be like try to be a London brand or try to be a brand in Manchester. Like if we're gonna be a brand, I want to be like known and figured.
You got to stay true to your roots,
you know, in the city that we're from. There's some great people in Leeds. There's a lot more creativity than people think in Leeds, but unfortunately, because it's spelled, you know, LWEDS, and it's not London, it's not Miami, you don't get that instant clout that you do with them cities. It's not really the most, you know, but I think slowly but surely we've turned the curve. I think we've had people come to the store that definitely wouldn't have done. That wouldn't have come to Leeds if it weren't for the right thing. So I think there's early signs there that we're making the right steps. But that's been a great achievement for me personally. Some of the people that have just even come to Leeds to give us time of day, I didn't see them people coming to Leeds.
That's
prior.
so true.
So that's been a good feeling as well.
No, I definitely have to give you guys props for that. And that's something I was talking about in my last episode, where it's very much like if you feel like you're being overlooked, or if you feel like people aren't seeing the value in you, you have to create your own lane. I think that's something I always respect.
And I was going to let me add on that as well. And you got to stay in your own lane as well. Like I've been a sucker for this in past, where I can hold man's up and say, you worry about what other people are doing and what are they doing, what are they doing, and I'm going to be good. Once you just have that tunnel vision, it's like putting when you do a racehorse and take its blinders off, them also just hi man, do you know what I mean? I think that's, for me, that's where I've excelled a lot more recently, because I did, like my younger age, I'd always like, we can't do that, or I'm worried about what he's doing. So having that focus and dedication to stay in your own lane is the best advice I could give to anybody, like seriously. And it's a hard thing to do, it is, like to maintain that, but I think what maintains it is working, coming to work with people like Erin, Anis, everybody else, having that team where people are on that same level. And we're here for the journey, man. We're not here for a quick sprint, man. Do you know what I mean? That's the thing. And I think a lot of people get into vintage nowadays because they just want
quick cash.
That quick cash, and they just
clothing in general.
They just want to look cool, or they want that Instagram clout to, like, you know what I mean? Like some people love, like, I don't care, like I can go out and people, it's Perry from Best, but to me, I'm just Perry from Apley Bridge who goes home and plays my PS5. Do you know what I mean? Like I don't care about any of that. Whereas a lot of people get caught up with that.
It's not going to have you illusion.
Like it's not going to. Exactly. Do you know what I mean?
After day one, bro, it's not. If you get in, I said it to you. I remember at the start. If you're getting into this just to make a quick buck, then you are so in the wrong industry.
Well, you're going to learn the hard way. You'll learn the hard way. Like a lot of people that I've seen so many businesses come to Leeds, we're going to close you down, we're going to do this. And like, right, cool, you crack on and do that then. It never, do you know what I mean? Like, it's very hard to run a business. And anyone that's opening an independent business in Leeds, I genuinely do take that off to them, because it's a difficult process, and there's a lot of great independents in Leeds at the minute. So,
No, that's so true. That is very true. I think there's a lot going on in Leeds, and like, because there's not a lot of competition, like there's not a lot of people, that makes the competition a bit more like stronger a bit.
100%.
I think it's great to see what you guys have done, because you guys are in your own lane. I can say, as much as you might take inspiration from other brands and whatnot, because everybody does, it's like you guys have created your own path. And especially what I've seen as well when I come in is the team you guys have. Like, shout out to the team as well. They're behind the camera now. We're half the team.
Shout out Mark, shout out Beth.
You guys are very...
Caesar and Gustavo over there.
The dogs as well. Shout out to the dogs. I'll say it's a very close and tight-knit team. I like what you guys have done there. And this is something I feel like I'm learning myself now as well, because I always wanted to do everything by myself. And shout out to producer Joe, cameraman Joe, and everything. I always want to do everything alone.
You can't do that, man.
But now you can't.
I used to be just like that, thinking, I can do this, I can do that. But the minute you actually just sit down and think, I can work with it. You can almost work better, man. It's like being in a football team. You let me just stay up front. You got your other team in a back, and you're a team, and you got a tight knit, people that can do that department. But when you put that pressure on yourself and want to try do everything, it's you know what I mean. You're just gonna burn yourself out, man.
And also other people are better at doing stuff.
Yeah, no, they are, and you should never be ashamed to say that. Like Erin's better at a lot of stuff than me, like I am, and I know there's some things that I might be better at. But
there's that always and everything, but. I've always believed in small teams that achieve big things as well.
There's no iron team together you achieve more. Do you know what I mean?
There's never been a part of me that thinks like the end goal, if there were loads and loads, like to have a massive team of people. Like, it scares me having
a big
team, more trust in someone. I'd rather have a small team and be working, more close knit, even if it takes a little bit longer to get stuff done. Like, I think a small busy team is always better than a big busy team where everyone's just got one. Do you know what I mean?
But in the past though, we have had a big team, and you've had people who you think are down for you, or you think
we've had a lot more.
You learn the hard way sometimes, but in essence, I'm glad I've gone through and learned hard way, because I can hold mine up, and I've got a clear conscience to everybody that I've worked with. I've always, been the best person that I could be, but sometimes when you have this big team, it don't necessarily always work out how you want it to work out. That's what I would say to that one. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask. I was like, I feel like quite a lot of your guys' success here has been because I came in years ago. Again, you guys have said, we only hire friends and family, which is something we'll go on as well. That's something we'll go on. But the reason why I say that is, do you think that's quite a part of your success because you have quite a tight-knit team? I feel like there's quite a lot of trust here. And even when I come in here, obviously I don't see the behind the scenes, but it doesn't feel like work. Like, I go into some shops, everybody seems like they're working. I come in here, like you guys said before, it feels like a hub. Do you think that's a lot of the reason why you guys are able to run a bit more smoothly, like have these things go through?
We've never had a traditional interview with someone since we started. We met Flynn by him bringing the t-shirt.
Yeah, it was a lovely story how we met Joe. Actually,
I met Anis from just coming in the shop and being a shopper.
Mark, we met Mark, didn't we? Again, from being a shopper,
just
who we knew.
Being around Leeds. I think there's got to be a balance, I mean, I think everyone that works here knows exactly what they've got to do. They don't. They know that they're here to do work, but also I think that there's a good relationship between everybody that works here. So
we're not afraid to do all. Like, you'll see me mopping floor in the morning. Most time we'll come to work and mop the floor.
That's so true.
You know what? We mop the floor. We can all clean the floor together. That's the saying. Do you know what I mean? We can all chip in and clean that floor together. And I think why people might respect me. Hey, look, we're not ashamed to do anything. I'll go clean toilet if I have to.
I've been waist-sizing jeans all day.
Yeah, exactly. Do you know what I mean?
I think sometimes
sieving through like whatever. Like, you just. For me, that's where I think we have that respect of people.
But we still class ourselves in as part of the team like everyone else.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you know what I mean? I think that's potentially a different dynamic to when you say against other stores. You don't. There is a couple of examples of people I know that are still there. Like, we got when I just got back from Amsterdam, I seen like Jukes, 2 guys that run it. They're still very much involved every day.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you're going to get a better reception out of your staff when you're there, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? Because you're not really giving them license to do what they want to do, but as such, but they know you're there.
Yeah.
They know how much it means to you. They almost want to do a better job because you're there. If that makes sense.
Just barking orders from your iPhone.
Just
like a bit of a, do you know what I mean? Like, you're not willing to do it, and then I think you don't really get the best out of people then sometimes. Like, I'm not saying I'm perfect by any means at all, but I like to think the people that I work with know that, we're all down to chip in and do hard work. And I think that's not, I'm not saying I'd never hire anybody, like, it's not friends and family, we're not that biased, but I think I've learned, like, we've hired some staff in the past before and it's not always gone to plan. So I think now we've learned a process of, like, it's almost like letting people into my house, giving them a job. Like, that's the best way I could describe it.
But the other way too, we've had it here where it's all blood related family,
and it don't work.
It's like a car crash.
Because
you can't realistically criticise because it comes home. And it's difficult to progress. And with if you can't be constructive with people, you're not having a go at them. You're saying what's wrong. And statistically, it might be backed up that it's wrong. It's hard to find a balance without thinking that you're having a go at one of your family members. So we've probably found a nice balance now.
Yeah.
Obviously, the only blood that works here now is me and Pez, and my old man. We still have my dad working here as well. So they're the only sort of blood related family that are here. But we've had it before as well, where like it's probably, as much as it's difficult to say and point out, you probably have to say, look, the dynamic of all working together as family now it's not getting backed up by what we're seeing. So
that's what I was gonna say as well, because I've always, maybe because I'm quite protective of my things, but I've always been like, I never like to mix business and like pleasure, like business and friends and shit like that. How do you guys find the right balance to do that? Because I was gonna ask as well, you guys are brothers. How do you manage that sibling relationship and then also have the business relationship where you guys are kind of that yin and yang and work well together?
It's a good question again.
Look, I mean, I can answer that question. Listen, me and Erin have had many arguments, and I think in running a business together, you have to admit you're not going to get on. But I think one thing that me and Erin, that I can answer personally, we both got that hunger for it, where we want to be here. And it's almost been like a dream for me to run it with Erin now. Like, I've worked with people in the past before who have fought or down for it or whatever, but that creates like, puts you on like a new sort of spectrum for me. Like, it makes you come in and realise that, you've got someone else who's on that same level for you. But it's like being in a relationship or anything. Look, there's going to be road bumps, you're going to argue, you're not always going to agree, and you're not always going to agree on everything. But I think the one thing is your hearts are pure, you're here for the right reasons. And I think that's why me and him both get on and want to come in and do it together. Because if we didn't, we probably wouldn't be here now, do you know what I mean? I don't think we would be. But that for me is probably one of the main reasons. And it is quite unique, not a lot of people will ever experience that in their life, where you can come to work every day and run something with somebody who you class as your best friend, you know what I mean? So for me, that's a nice feeling that I can have, and I'm very grateful for it. And I think that's why we're going to take it to them levels now, and we are getting it to them levels that we've wanted to get it to. And hence the reason why I'm sat on the podcast now talking to you lot, do you know what I mean? So that's the way I see it personally.
I always go back to the saying of like, when you come back to like the question of why did you want to do it, whatever. Now we're at this point now. The minute we realise we're gonna go for it, like your circle
becomes smaller.
Just miraculously gets smaller when your dreams start getting a little bit bigger, bro. Do you get what I'm saying? So the people that are around you now are the right people. Because if believe me when I say like your circle starts becoming
smaller,
incredibly smaller. That's when it's thinking, it's almost like life filters out for you. You know what I mean? Who's not meant to be there and who's meant to be there, and I won't ever feel bad about that, because I come into this shop because there's people I care about it. I've always cared about it. I always say I have an attachment to this building, which sounds fucking mental, bro. It's
very true. It's very true.
But nobody realistically understands, and I think the one thing, like Perry said, that comes back to it, and why we might argue, but we come back to working together the way we do, is because, bro, he does get it, bro. He's been singing about this shop for years before anyone else has. Do you know what I'm saying? He's been singing about it when nobody wanted to sing about it. Now people call it the best shop in the world because he's been saying it's the best shop.
I started that as well for a little.
Do you know what I'm saying?
But genuinely, because I believed it. Because I think that's the thing, having that self-belief.
And I've worked in the shop when it don't feel like it loves you back, and you feel like but then I have to ask the question, why was it not loving me back? Do you know what I mean? It is the business. It's mad, bro. When you start like doing this, it's mad. It fries your head, bro. But honestly, like it's now it's like okay, stuff's got a little bit smaller. We have a smaller team, whatever. But it's almost like the business now repays you back for it, bro.
Nice.
This building right now is in a good mood with me, bro. I know it is. Cause
you can feel it.
Yeah, I can feel it, bro. I can feel it, bro. I know too much, unfortunately. I don't like being someone who has to like point stuff out to people or be the person that's like, we need to do this, we need to do that. But ultimately, one of the reasons why we're on a podcast now, and we're on a podcast because you've seen it come up is because we've had to make a lot of tough decisions, bro. And I don't like being the one that has to make them a lot of the time, or we have to make them together. But it's one of those things that's like you have to do it, bro.
Yeah, that's so true. That's really interesting, because you guys had always also said there, like, your circle gets smaller. And that's also something I wanted to ask you. I think anybody who's ever got to any kind of high position of success has always
100%.
kind of, you know, had a journey where along the way people have dropped off or people may have switched up. And how do you guys deal with that? If you guys have ever had like potentially made enemies along the way or people may have doubted you, like how do you guys come across that? And what advice would you give to someone who...
Do you know what it is, bro? Like, honestly, you're never going to be everybody's cup of tea. And for me, it's like, I'm not going to like go into any names or name anybody, but you know what it is, right? Like I said, I know my conscience is always clear of me personally. I've worked with a lot of amazing people on the way, and do you know what, right? It's sort of maybe good for a fact that them people are here now and they're out doing their own things, and you know, fair play to them. But I feel like you should never feel bad for having your vision how you have it. Like some other people might not like that or might want to question it or don't agree with it, and that's absolutely fine. Like, you know, I've worked with people in the past now that might not have good things to say about me or might not like me, but you know what, I don't really care, because I come to work and I know that I had to make decisions along the way that aren't going to please everybody. And I think that's the thing in life. I've suffered it in my life where I always want to be everybody's best friend or be a people pleaser, please people, but it don't get you anywhere. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes you have to make tough decisions about who you want to be. Are they here for the right reasons? Are they just here for their own personal gain of just making money from you? Or because there was a time in the shop when it wasn't like it is now. You know, we've made this shop how we want to be it now, and some people along the way might not like that, but I think if anything, there's no real lesson you could give to that. I think I'm glad that I've gone through that myself to realise that, and like we go back to the point of saying that's where your circle becomes smaller. But you should never feel ashamed for like having your own beliefs. Not everyone's always going to have that share your same belief. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I don't know how you would answer that as.
I feel like you never realistically, you're never going to please anyone, being the first point. So you're never going to please everyone in no matter what industry you're in. There's always going to be someone who has a different opinion to you. You're never going to get hate or the things that you're alluding to though from people above you. Or doing maybe slightly better than you. Or usually the hate is always directed by somebody chasing. Or someone that's maybe behind, or, you know, and for me, I will always say, look, I wish that person, whoever that may be, the best, but that seems like a personal problem to me. It's not a problem with me ultimately. Because unfortunately, like, you know, like anything, we're not getting this place rented to us free of charge. And we have to make a lot of decisions that ultimately are best for this building. So yeah, like, you know, it's part of life, like I say, you know, everybody's got, you know, opinions to say, good and bad. I'm always someone that if I feel like my actions are right at the time, if I don't have, I'm always someone that goes back and apologises if something that I don't feel like I've done right. But if I act in the correct manner at the time of something happening, and then, you know, people are gonna say X, Y, and Z, that it honestly don't bother me whatsoever, bro. It's kind of what's signed up. Like from the day I've been doing this job, I've been wearing earphones, bro. I'm not bothered what people say about me or what people think or if it's negative. You have to block it out, bro. It's part of the process. You know what I mean? You have to block it out. You know, you see a lot of like people getting into social media now, and you know, they've got to be really thick-skinned with the amount of hate online now. It's the same process, no matter what industry you're in, whether it be this industry, an industry where, you know, you're trying to back yourself, whatever, you're going to get people that have something to say about that. And ultimately, like I say, I would again say that's a problem for themselves to deal with, and not for me to deal with, bro. Not for me to deal with.
That's some good advice there.
No, it is, and I think my definition is you get a lot of angry soldiers in life, people who just look at what you're doing and just are pissed off and angry about it. But I think that's the general perception of some people in life, that you'll never get rid of haters. I think as I've got older, I'm incredibly humble, and I look at what people are doing, I think, do you know what, hats off to you, mate, fair play. You look over the road, you've got people like Vic who set and Kyle, who was starting that shop every single day. Now he's in end places, like all them different sort of shops, and that's not happened overnight. But I won't look at him and hate on him, and I think there's too many other people that might look at us now and think, oh, sack him, or he's this, he's that. And it's like, bro, there's no need for it. If you focused on your own stuff and actually, I don't know the word to use, but like orchestrated that into what you're doing on a daily basis, you'd be a better person yourself.
Yeah.
But that's the sad thing I don't like about life. You're always going to get people that are going to hurt, and it's how you deal with it. Do you know what I mean? You're never going to eradicate it, no matter what shape or walk of form you like. When you start to do well, it's doing well for a reason. They never actually want to say, do you know what? That's off to it.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's a hard thing to do in life. It's a very hard thing to do in life, and
people forget about
they
that.
do you know what I mean?
Like when you kind of get to a certain level, and I because no one can kind of imagine themselves at the position of like success.
No,
100%.
Nobody does, mate.
I think
Nobody does.
when you do get to that place, you forget that.
Yeah.
You know what? You're not going to be able to please everyone.
Yeah,
and one
100%.
thing I've always seen about people who kind of make it, not even necessarily making it is the goal, but enemies will be made along the way. Tough decisions
definitely.
will have to be made.
They have to.
So, you're never going to please everyone.
No.
100%.
You're not. But there's, it works like a domino effect. In the same time, we talk about people that don't like. By doing the right things, bro, we've also met some people who had different doors open up.
Yeah.
That are opening up in a positive manner.
Definitely.
There's a big balance to it. You're gonna get people that don't like what you're doing. Yeah. You're gonna also, in turn, if you're doing the right things, meet people that could change what you're doing. And change it for the better. So, it's not just a focus on like, everyone, if you start, I don't want the message to be if you start backing yourself, you're going to get bare hair. Because, bro, it's like anything, there's a balance. You're going to have people that are going to say stuff. Yeah. Providing that you're not really too bothered, it won't make much of a difference to your life. No, do you know what I mean? It's not made a massive difference to my life, if I'm being honest.
No, same.
Do you know? If anything, like I say, when we talk about like the Ants Kicks event we did in February and stuff like that, people that want Ants just getting my number and
that was a lot of
that is a lot of late nights and a lot of social media exposure, and maybe he sees it here and then he thinks about it, but then he keeps seeing us and to the point where people won't know this, but the whole Ants Kicks event across every city was orchestrated with me, Ants, and Flynn behind the camera in the tees.
I didn't ever
bro,
know
nobody
that.
knows that.
Yeah, no one knows.
Do you know what I mean?
Well, now we know it.
Flynn, you know that, innit?
You do
the
know
Ants Kicks
now.
tees.
This guy will actually
We'd have to go to chiropractor. Nah, but that's the point I'm trying to say, and that's not. I mean, I remember speaking to Ants about on the day that he did the Leeds one, but that's just shows there's a positive manner as well. You might have to ignore what other people are saying, but there's also going to be other people that are saying the right things to you.
Yeah, definitely. Exactly.
And not just Ants as an example. There's loads of examples of people I've met since we've been doing this now in a completely different life, and that's like the rewards. You know what I mean? It comes back to repay you in that sense.
Nah. That's great. I'm glad to hear that you guys have a lot of like a positive attitude towards that. It's a very grounded view.
Bro, if we were sat here and it was, oh God, one person said something bad, we wouldn't be doing it.
Exactly what you're gonna do, fight everybody that don't like it,
bro. Or I wouldn't have enough voice to argue with everyone. Exactly. Do you know what I mean? Like and it could be as little as a customer coming in and not liking what we do or thinking it's overpriced. I can't then change all the prices for that person. We have to stick to what we think. We have a gut feeling that and we it's quite calculated behind the scenes that we think it's gonna work and we've got we've got to back it, bro.
I love that energy. I can't lie. I love the energy you guys have, and I think you guys at home should take a lot of that. And you guys actually just reminded me. Take a lot of that energy at home. I know you guys are watching it right now and you're hearing the words, but also taking the energy and the self-belief too. Obviously, I'm here. I've talked to these guys a lot, but I think one thing you guys should also remember and take in is just the presence of self-belief, and not even to glaze or give too much props. I think you can feel that energy a lot, and I think that's why a lot of people are gravitated towards you guys, this shop, because it's a lot of self-belief. And even back to when you guys were saying, I should have said this a lot in the intro, but they've had events with NEMS. I think that's the first one I called up to. Insane event. K-Trap. Yo, see, events I didn't even know. K-Trap, Meeks, Ants Kicks. And these were all in store, run by you guys. And the NEMS one, I think, that NEMS one, insane event. First of all, great guy as well, Nems. What I
great guy, great management,
great team.
Big up to his manager.
Great team, great guy.
We'll have to say, Nems, if you're watching this, that was like the only nice celebrity.
He was destined.
That's why it's nice seeing Nems doing well. Man, I'm killing it now. Like, do you know what I mean? But again, very humble kid, down to earth, had that vision and a plan, and you know what I mean. And again, coming into an industry where a lot of people probably said, "Oh, who's this guy? Who do you think he?" Do you know what I mean? But again, tunnel vision, staying in his own lane. Do you know what I mean? It's the best way.
Real quick then, if someone wants advice on reaching out and networking, like what is some advice you can give them, and how did that Nems collab come into play? How did you guys even get that event here?
How did we get that?
I got a call from his manager. It was a last minute thing. They got a cancellation. And it wasn't Nems or his manager. It was a girl that basically acted for a load of the artists. She's like she connects the artist to the venue, and obviously the artist releases. Shivs was his manager, but he had another girl who basically organised. It's like an events planner, I guess. Yeah. But I want to say they had a cancellation last minute, and they needed a store in Leeds, and I thought, not paid or anything. We didn't make a penny from it. We had to pay this. We had to just say to the staff, we've got this. Do you mind staying? We didn't get anything, but what I think it did for us is that we've got Nems in the shop. Yeah. He were kind enough to put on the clothing. Yeah. That's literally the first thing. And not only were he kind enough to put on the clothing, I think he came up to me after he took him home. I think he actually you know what I mean? Like for us, without feeling a financial effect, it reassured us that we're doing the right thing. Bro.
Yeah,
do you know what I'm saying? It's not always about seeing the return on money, bro.
Yeah,
I think too many people are obsessed with wow. Sometimes like stuff like that can really push you on to the next thing.
Yes.
And the next thing from it going so well with the manager was, I've got so many more lined up, and we had meets literally
like a couple of weeks later.
2 weeks after. We had K-Trap the day after, and all of a sudden it's like we've got queues outside the shop, and unfortunately brought out a stupid rule now that you have to be authorised music selling.
We've got to do it like HMV and like records.
So it was
that's just typical Leeds City Council.
Yeah.
Well, if you're still listening, we'll wrap this up in the next 10 minutes. But I wanted to ask you guys some quick fire questions.
Of course, my man.
I think, if you had some 3 pieces of advice, right, for some young kid who's in their room right now, they're watching this, they're inspired, they want to make a move, what are 3 actionable things you guys can say separately that they should do, that they can get up right now and just do something about it? Start a brand, start a business, start something creative. What would that piece of advice be?
I mean, my number 1 piece would be, and I'd say to anybody in line, you got to step out your comfort zone. I think too many people live within the comfort zone.
That's a good one.
It's a great one to live in your comfort zone because everything's easy, but ain't nothing ever going to grow there, mate. Like, do you know what I mean? I've been in that position where I just thought, I'll get to it, we'll do this, it's all right, blah, blah, blah. But when you actually step out of it and start doing things that you wouldn't normally do or didn't think you could do, because the mind is a powerful tool, my friend, a powerful tool. You'll have like one on your shoulder telling you, you can't do this, you can't, and then you've got somebody being like, just do it. But if I could give any advice to a kid watching this, go out and do it. You're living in a generation now where everyone's got an iPhone, or you've probably at the best time of life to go and make a success of yourself. But get out of that comfort zone. Get away from people who are stuck in like hating on other people. You want to surround yourself with people. Like I've met people now working at like influencers who are lifting me up, thinking, shit, God, we could do that. So my number 1 bit of advice is, I know it might sound cliches, but taking that initial step and doing something that you wouldn't normally do and watch the results.
Nice.
That's what I would say.
There's a few.
Yeah.
There's a few. I've got a lot. I'm full of sayings, mate.
Okay,
top analogies.
Top 1. Analogies.
For starters, do something you enjoy doing. Go down a niche that you actually enjoy doing, that you were doing without, like, we're just alluding to about, like, getting paid, etc. Do something that you were doing and you weren't taking anything back for it and you were happy.
Yeah, that you
because ultimately that's the thing that you should do every day. And if you do it every day to the right standard, it'll come back, maybe not, and it should give you what you need anyway.
Yeah.
Second of all, go find a mirror and have a look at it.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, it's too. Don't look at your phone and see someone else doing it and make and take and compare and look how easy it looks what they're doing. They're filming short form content and it's being edited to pull you in. Look in a mirror before you do anything. Calculate. Make sure you actually feel some form of confidence and you feel it right. And also, the one I said to you as well, put on an invisible pair of earphones and get ready to block out a few stuff that might not always be positive. You're always going to get negative come around it, and you got to do your best to find a way not but to cope with it. You know, I've said to you before, Bill, I remember saying it, cope with having a bad day. Don't look forward to the good days. You're gonna find a place where you can not enjoy having a bad day. No one wants to have 2 bad days and on a bad week, but you need to understand why you're having a bad day. And honestly, if you can start coping with having a bad day, the good days will come a lot more. Of course. They will. Nice. They will. So that would be that one free pair about 10 pieces of advice. There's loads of stuff, and also as well, I have a few mates of mine that like really good mates of mine that, you know, they want to go do what they do. But how do you do it now? Bro, the thing is, sometimes making mistakes along the way is the best way to find out how to do it properly.
Exactly.
You know, there's no book that teaches you how to run a business. It might be out there on Amazon that you can find and read up, but it's like, from my experience, and this is only speaking my experience, so I'm not, you know, somebody else might have had it really calculated thing. It doesn't always work like that. You know, sometimes being in a deep water and knowing how to swim is the best way to teach. And even if you start drowning a little bit, you know, like it's meant to happen. It's meant to happen. And, you know, even you know, this podcast now, but you'll see like the one with Clint, somebody who people might put him at the top now. He's made loads of mistakes along the way. He admits them. Maybe what separates him from the rest of the people now, and he's where he is because how he combated them mistakes. You know, how he turned from getting a 20 grand order on cargoes, which essentially was wrong, which can happen when you manufacture your own clothes. But he changed it into selling them for 99p at a store and had everyone in London running round like they were madmen. And how much money is that worth to him in the long run? You know what I mean? So it's about you know, sometimes we've had it where store might be a little bit quiet. It's a problem.
Give up, like
it's a problem for us, but problems can lead to solutions that never make that problem come up again. So, you know, don't always just think that it's always going to go well. Sometimes the bad things actually can make it a lot better.
That's so true. I think that's honestly beautiful, and I think that's a good place to kind of take it off and take it. And that's a good takeaway for the end. I think people need to kind of remember that what you're doing and what you're striving for should be a part of your life and something that you can live and breathe and die for. And I think that's what you guys do a lot of the time. Like you've been saying, like 100%. A lot of people finish work and that's the end of work for them because it's something that's separate for them. And I think we all do it at some point. Like you need to pay the bills, but I think when you're passionate about something and you feel something, it's important to almost live and breathe it. Obviously obsessed with it to a healthy level, but like you guys say, you know, it gives your life structure.
It does. It does. I'm in a fortunate position where I enjoy my Monday to Friday.
That's the nicest thing to admit and say in this day and age.
That's the thing. Massively. When I was saying I worked for someone else, I was the complete finish work. Obviously, I used to book viewings that would get me out of work, so I didn't have to be there.
Taking shortcuts.
So I could just be on my phone. I knew I was getting paid at end of month still. And
a lot of people are doing that.
Do you know what that is? That's just that. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. But I certainly, having experienced both, I feel better now waking up on a Monday and a Tuesday.
That's great.
You don't dread coming to work Monday morning.
Then on a Sunday thinking, do you know what I mean? Am I feeling a little bit ill where I can come in? Can you skive it? Yeah, can I skive it? Can I, you know, bro, that is a feeling that I can't lie. I feel so humble about that. Honestly, Monday to Friday, like you say, you have to pay your bills and stuff. I get that, but that's a banging feeling.
Yeah,
That's a good feeling. It's a good feeling. You can't really put a price on that feeling, bro.
Yeah,
in my opinion, you know.
That's so true.
It's worth more to me than somebody who might be doing something they don't enjoy and they're on a Mac wage for doing it. It's worth more to me than that.
No, that's beautiful. Yeah, guys. Wow, this has been a great. I feel like
we're lifted after this.
Yeah,
good energy in the room. You know what I mean?
So
just gonna say, in terms of somebody
energy.
backing himself, just in terms of you, Bill, since I've met you, I just want to say,
Big up, Bill.
Generally mean this as well.
Like what you just said about.
Definitely, in terms of somebody, you know, standing there at a wall, continually throwing stuff until he finds that thing. I can't speak higher than someone like Bill. So we appreciate you inviting us on.
Yeah, thank you very much, man.
And just, bro, honestly, keep up what you're at. We'll always support what you're doing.
Guys.
And it's been sick to do this, honestly, bro.
Yeah, I fully enjoyed it.
I'm so glad
audience has enjoyed it.
No, it has. And also as well, if you have watched to the end, as we said, we're going to be sponsoring this video as well, aren't we?
Yes, they have something to tell you guys. I was literally going to move on to that.
Yeah.
But first of all, I'm so bad at taking compliments. So
No, I am, Bill. No, I am. But honestly, no. But I just feel like it's
compliments.
Bill, like I say,
Compliments
we met you a couple of years back. You know, you've worked with the whole team now on different stuff. Whether it be Charlie, you've worked with Charlie and stuff back in the day. You've worked with Flynn. You've worked with Buzz. Generally, not seeing a guy that puts as much work in, bro.
Appreciate
and honestly, even when, like I said, coping with. You know, obviously different to what we do. We might monitor in how many stuff we've sold. You might monitor in our videos done, but you definitely don't need it to affect you in a bad way. But you're doing all the right things.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Yeah. They have something special for you guys. You know, I'm not gonna explain it all because I think they'll do a much better job on it. So I'm gonna give the floor to you guys. What would you say?
You don't even know, do you?
What? No.
Why are you
No, I think
No.
So,
What's the surprise to all of
it's
us?
nothing bad, guys. Just for watching the vid, we're going to be sponsoring the video with our new unreleased £200 deal.
Oh,
So you get to come into store and spend £200 on Bill, on me, and on Pez, and on the whole team at Best if you tune in till the end.
Yeah.
£200 deal, you can get 3 items, a piece of outerwear, a piece that's up to 60 quid and a piece of 45 quid. So the full voucher is actually worth
That is a deal.
250 quid that you can come spend in store. And yeah, how will we announce the winner? Just a watcher. All you've got to do to be entered into it is follow Bill's.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe to Bill, YouTube, Instagram, all the polls. Follow Best Leeds UK, TikTok, Instagram, and follow Best LS1. That is it. Once you do that, then tag 3 friends as well, and we'll pick a winner whenever you want to pick a winner.
Maybe end of Halloween. Maybe keep it to Halloween.
We'll pick a winner whenever.
Yeah, we'll release this episode.
Yeah, whenever we release
sometime.
it, we'll pick the winner as well.
Yeah, no, that's definitely where the boys put the money where their mouth is, because I think one thing they're great at, and somewhere where I have to give them props, is they're always putting people on. I can definitely say I wouldn't be in this position without these two guys here. They've shown me that I can do it. They've given me the support I needed in ways they probably don't even understand, the connections I've needed. So, boys, thank you so much.
Thank you, bro.
And for watching this, guys, make sure you do as they just said. You said 250, right?
It's a £200 deal that technically allows you to spend £250.
And there's no better time to have it a minute because the shop is packing.
Exactly. There's a lot of
when I say we've got even more deliveries on the way, so we're probably giving it to you at quite possibly the best time.
Exactly, man.
Yeah, just in time for Christmas, just when seasons change. Come get a coat, a windbreaker. It's endless.
Yeah. So you guys know where to find it. Thank you guys so much for watching, boys. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you to everybody at home as well. Big up,
big up Bill. Big up Flindino, who's been
behind the mic,
edited.
Steven Spielberg himself.
Exactly. Shout out producer Joe, man.
Yeah.
This is my guy. Producer Joe's always tagged down below. If you want to find his work, you can find it there too. Thank you the best in general. I mean, you guys, but also everybody else on the team. Thank you to the building for letting us film here. And I think that's us over and out. Shout out to Anis too. She's been here the whole time too. You know, Anis has been showing her support. Live audience.
Big up people.
Yeah, perfect.
Appreciate it.
Thank you guys.
Thank you. That was sick, man.
That was sick.
Podcast more, man.
That was very good.
That was very good. No, I think.